boys and girls, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I come before you today to talk with you about a situation I must bring to light. This situation is none other than laziness. Yes, I said it, laziness. Brought on by the new inventions that we see brought on TV every day, that we see on billboards as we go by them, and in the shop windows in the mall. We no longer can get lost on our own without some monotonic female voice nagging at us. We can no longer make so much noise that the neighbor has to bang on our door when we get up to turn the TV off. And we no longer break our backs with tons and tons of books. It's really sad how much we don't have these days to make us work for what we want to be lazy for. I remember the day when my grandfather used to get up to turn off the TV. He would make so much noise, it would drown out the red line subway in New York. Of course, I don't remember this since I wasn't around at this time, but I do remember my grandfather telling me about this. He would walk up to that TV and he would turn it off, and it would take about 5 seconds for it to flicker off and die. We don't have this anymore. Instead, we have the Xbox 360 Connect. We don't even need a 2-year remote. We have our voice. We can tell it to change the channel. We can tell it to get louder, get softer. Tell it to watch a movie for us. We don't even have to do it. Our phones will get lazy, get fat, and sit next to us on the couch eating ice cream. One day we won't even have to text. I remember the day when I did have to text. Now I just use Siri on my dad's phone to text for him. Just goes to prove how much we're turning into Idaho's favorite dirt clod on a couch. Remember the day when you had to go to your in-law's house and you decided that you were going to drive there? You didn't need to fly or take a bus. You knew where you were going. You had a Thomas Guide, Yahoo Maps, yet somehow you still managed to get lost. You had an argument with your spouse about getting directions, but you, being the driver, knew where you were going. And after about 10 different shortcuts, going down a hill, up a hill, in snow, both ways, in shorts, you managed to get there on time magically. Now we have global positioning satellites. We just have to listen to that female monotonic voice as she does the getting lost, getting into an argument with your spouse about where you're going. Guaranteed that she knows where she's going because she's the driver. Take those 10 shortcuts and still get to the place on time. Magically. We no longer need to get lost on our own. Let's just use the computer to do it for us, right? Sad. In fact, books. That too. People just don't stop loving books. The weight, the smell, the mass, the weight, the pages, the paper cuts. Did I mention the weight? So much weight that when I was in school, I had to carry all my books in my backpack, along with my school supplies. I broke my back so many times. Not anymore. Not anymore. I don't get to see my chiropractor as often as I did. I wonder what he's doing sometimes. Nowadays, we have those newfangled devices, e-readers, iPads, iPhones, laptops. They all carry our books for us. Makes me wonder where we're going today. Where will our money go for our back? It'll go into more books for that thing? We need to stop being lazy, ladies and gentlemen. I ask and urge you, don't be lazy. Have some moxie. Be active. Get up and turn off the TV. Use the Xbox 360 Connect for what its natural purpose is. Make a fool of yourself playing Just Dance 2. Get lost on your own without the use of a GPS. It's what a Thomas Guide is for. It's also what Yahoo Maps is for and Google Maps. I've had plenty of times. And let's throw out our backs together with tons of books in our backpacks with our school supplies.
Kyle, I like the introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it felt like there was a circus type feeling. And so I didn't know exactly where you're going to go. And so when you came with the technology and all that, it was like, okay, it's going to happen. Technology, the new age Spud. I thought it was a pretty good introduction because you kind of set up the fact that it was going to be a humorous type speech, which I thought was very humorous. Your objectives were to inform, persuade, entertain, and inspire. And I think you hit the inform pretty well and the entertain pretty well as well. What I would like to have seen a little more is to persuade us a little more and sort of inspire us to drop the e-books and the Nook and those electronic type books and try to pick up just a regular book. I like regular books. I think the way you said they smell kind of got me because I'm real big with smells, and I think as soon as you start explaining the smell, I think everybody starts understanding a little more. So I think I would have liked to seen you grab an actual book before and maybe used it in your speech and just kind of held it and held the weight of it, as well as hold up a book or maybe a Nook or something like that, or no, actually like a cell phone or something like that to bring maybe a prop into it. I know it's a last minute speech, so it's hard to bring those things in. And one of the objectives was also not to use notes. So, but last minute, it was good that you got up here and actually did it. The other thing about the book is that with technology, once you lose that data, you're going to lose the ebook. So it's nice to have the paperback and maybe inspire us in that type of way of, hey, give up the ebooks because when you lose the data with technology, it's pretty much gone forever. One of the other things that you said, the reason why we should keep the books is to break our backs. I don't know how inspiring that was. And I think, the school books, that applies to anybody that's in school, but, for those of us that aren't. The other thing that I loved about it was the amount of information. I think the topic was very relevant with technology making us lazy and you starting, I think the technology that started making us lazy was the remote control on the TV. That's a very infamous one. So I liked that you used that topic. Your speech was very humorous. I thought at times the voice went really low, so I didn't hear the punchline, and I was sitting up there. So if you can bring up the volume a little bit more, I think that would be great. And yeah, I really like the fact that you got up here and just went for it.